You might remember earlier this morning I put out a video about how Funimation recast the Danganronpa anime. While my feelings are largely the same, some new information has come to light that I feel requires a bit of revisionism regarding my stance a bit. Apparently, according to some Facebook posts and tweets from the Funimation voice actors, this anime dub was done over a year ago, which would put it, spring? It would put it like spring of 2014 they did this, almost a year after the show aired in Japan. So apparently this dub has been done for over a year, and they're only just now getting around to announcing the cast change, and nothing else really, because we still don't have a concrete release date for this set, which just raises so many questions about what Funimation was really thinking when they did this, because I can't comprehend, I can't fathom their business strategy here. So basically, their plan was, if I understand this correctly, hey, we have Bryce Papenbrook here for Attack on Titan, because we wanted him for more lead roles, because if there's one thing we need about Toonami, it's for Bryce Papenbrook to star the lead in every show that airs on Toonami, but whatever. Anyway, we have him here for Attack on Titan, so why don't we get this Danganronpa thing out of the way? Let's just ignore what NISA is doing, which is the initial complaint when they first licensed it, was that people were complaining that Funimation was completely ignoring what NISA was doing with the game license. I do remember at the time, however, that what was it? There was some information that said that it was somehow NISA's fault, but I cannot remember what the specifics were. I'm sorry. I probably should have done some research on what we were saying 2 years ago, but it's been 2 years, so you can't really blame me for forgetting. A lot's happened. But basically, I'm just really confused why they waited so long to announce their home video rights and announce that they were putting this out and announce that they changed the cast. It just seems like they're gonna lose sales because of this. Like, they have to know that there's gonna be fans of the game. There's gonna be fans of the dub of the game. You know, a lot of people thought the dub of the game was really, really good, really solid. I thought so as well. There's going to be a lot of people like that who aren't going to pick up this set because they don't want to see 95% of the cast change. You know, regardless of how good the performances of the Funimation cast are, and I'm sure they're fine. It's a Tatum script, you know. I'm sure it's fine, but you know, there's a nice mix of new Texas VAs and old Texas VAs, or somewhat old Texas VAs. I'm sure it'll be fine on its own, but it just doesn't make sense to me as a business decision, because I'm like, how can they profit from this? Well, I mean, they're going to profit, obviously, but they could be profiting more, I think, if they expended the extra effort to try to synchronize this somehow, you know? And I remember talking to someone from NISA. It wasn't one of the usual guys, I don't remember. And they said that they had talked with Funimation about Danganronpa when they both announced their licenses of the game and the anime respectively, and they reached some kind of conclusion, and apparently this was the conclusion that they reached. But they all parties involved just kind of kept it a secret until now. I'm actually kind of surprised it didn't leak earlier, considering how many people knew, because this is a large cast and whatnot. There's a lot of actors involved, a lot of editors, scripters, etc. There's a lot of people involved here. I'm surprised that nothing ever leaked before this point. So I'm not sure. I still believe that it would have been better for Funimation, and better for the fans, obviously, to try to work out some kind of deal, to try to outsource it, or what have you, to try to get most of that cast back. You know, I don't know what they did With as far as the Neptunia and BlazBlue dubs go, I don't know what they did to get most of those actors back, but the fact that they didn't do it for Danganronpa, I think, is kind of dickish in its own right. I don't know when the Neptunia and BlazBlue dubs were done. Maybe those were done a year ago, too. I don't know. I know that they didn't get everyone over to Texas. That's the one thing I know. They did not get all of those people to Texas. Impossible. Well, improbable. I'm calling it now. They didn't do that. They worked out some kind of deal. Why they couldn't make that happen a third time, I don't know. We'll likely never know. Doesn't stop it from being disappointing for me. I'll probably check out the dub because I'm at least interested to see the other actors' takes on these characters, but whether or not I buy it is another story altogether, you know. And some people have pointed out that it may have been a mistake to even get Bryce, if that's the case, because you're going to have this entirely new cast, and then every time Bryce opens his mouth, or Naegi opens his mouth, you're going to be reminded of the game's cast, and then you're going to start comparing. Like, I mean, you're going to compare anyway, but you're going to be constantly reminded of the fact that this isn't the same. You're not going to be able to make yourself forget through immersion. You know, you're going to be constantly reminded that this is not the cast you once knew. And so in a way, even getting Bryce back may have been a mistake. Because then you're reminded, and you don't see the performances anymore. All you see is the changes, and you know, that sort of thing. I guess at the end of the day, I'm actually not as mad about this as I should be. I play it up for drama, but I'm actually not as mad about this as I could be, or I thought I would be. Mainly because it's like, well, the game is the better way to experience this story. The game's always going to be there. I have it right over there. But, so that's always there, and, you know, I don't have to watch the anime if I don't want to, you know. I'd prefer I do, you know. It wasn't bad. I'd like to see it at least one more time. But, yeah. Basically my thoughts on that. Just a bit of revisionism here. Zeke freak out? Ciao ciao for now. Why'd I say ciao ciao? Do I have Chinese on the brain?